Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great, great world. We're going to talk about XRP. I'm going to start with a question, though. How many of you feel the current financial system is on a downhill slope, ready to crash out at any moment? I feel we are on a razor's edge. And any major event that happens right now could send the current financial system in a downward spiral throughout the entire world. And I feel other people are thinking the same way because the smallest event that happens makes people think cashless society, CBDCs coming. Let's take a look at why. Missing funds at Bank of America. Customers start to panic. Media blackout. Chicago, some Bank of America customers said money is missing from their accounts, including funds from Zelle deposits and transactions. Ray Garcia has trusted Bank of America with his money for 20 years. But he noticed a problem happening to others. He went to check on his own account. I was surprised, like, whoa, Garcia said. So I checked my transactions. I had like 15 different Zelle transactions. That was like a red flag for me right there because I don't remember doing all of that in one day. He says almost $700 went missing from his account. He called customer service with no luck getting a representative. This is one small event. Wait until this happens throughout the entire country all at once. And I believe that's what we're headed for. Because at some point, the entire world is going to fall into a massive liquidity crisis. Banks are going to close their doors and lock them. You won't have access to your money. ATMs won't be working either. And I feel that right now they're trying to get as much out of the current financial system before they totally cash it out. They are preparing for the collapse. You see what happened with Bank of America right away. This is what people were thinking. Cashless society, CBDCs, because people are preparing for it. Because we're in crypto, we know what comes next. I stopped trusting the bank a long time ago. You could put all the money in the savings, and what are you going to get? Less than a 1% in interest? You could take that same money and put it into crypto and all of a sudden get life-changing wealth. Bank of America to partner with Ripple for ODL services after XRP lawsuit finishes. And we see here now, Brad Garlinghouse made it clear that they are ready to settle with the SEC as long as they get clarity on XRP. I asked him if American companies were waiting on the sidelines to jump in the game once clarity happens. He said, absolutely. He specifically said Bank of America. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple. And he said Bank of America stands to gain really big when the settlement happens because Bank of America is going to have a huge competitive advantage over their competitors by using ODL on the marketplace. So Brad is very, very bullish. You should be as well because that ODL is what's going to make us rich in the future. It allows even the smallest bank to compete with the biggest banks of the world. Currently, there's over $65 trillion in off-bank debt in the derivative market. That's enough to collapse the system alone. Banks are sitting on more debt than ever in front of the largest ever housing market super bubble. Don't say you weren't warned. And I feel the banks don't even know how much debt is out there. It's not even clear how many analysts are aware of the existence of the large off-balance sheet obligations. I feel that the countries don't even know how much debt is sitting out there right now as well. Look at the US. We're $31 trillion in debt, and we just let it keep racking up, go into more and more debt. At some point, something's got to give. We can't print ourselves out of it. The end of the petrodollar is near as well. Why did a federally backed entity bail out a shady crypto bank? Now, whenever they tie a bank to crypto, that's not good because it just shows more signs that they can create a narrative around. Oh, crypto's bad. You never want to get into crypto. It's too volatile. People are losing money. That's the narrative they're pushing. I'll show you why in a minute. So, when depositors began pulling money out of Silvergate Capital Corp following the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, the California bank shored up its liquidity by tapping a quasi-government agency not typically known as a lender of last resort. Silvergate received $4.3 billion from Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco late last year. The crypto-friendly bank now holds roughly $4.6 billion in cash, and right on cue comes Jim Cramer. Not business as usual. Jim Cramer blasts dangerous $4.3 billion bailout of crypto bank. Here's how to prepare for a total collapse of crypto confidence. If you're not in crypto right now and you were considering getting into crypto, you probably changed your mind once FTX fell, because all over the mainstream media news, they're pushing that same narrative. Crypto's going to zero. You don't want to invest in crypto. But because we're already invested and we held through all of that, we know what comes next. Euphoric times. Kramer's going to be saying, get in this coin while you still can in the near future. Wait and see. We are now processing billions of dollars transactions every quarter. Well over half the transaction volume goes through XRP, Brad Garlinghouse. But why is the price not moving? That's what people are always concerned about. Because I don't believe we're quite there yet. Regulation's got to come. Regulatory clarity has to happen. Once ODL goes live throughout the world, that's it. That's when the price of XRP is absolutely going to skyrocket. Once that case ends, that's when we're really going to see XRP start to take off. Brad Garlinghouse reveals Ripple had inconsequential FTX exposure of $10 million. We did have some exposure to FTX, the Ripple chief said. I think we publicly shared before. There's around just over $10 million of XRP we had leased to FTX that they use for various things on FTX. I'm hopeful, though, that through the bankruptcy process, we get some or all of it back, but it's not too consequential to the business. That's because Ripple is in very good shape. They have $1 billion in cash. Most legal experts and crypto practitioners who have followed the landmark case appear to believe the U.S. government failed to prove its legal theory for bringing the enforcement action. And that's because of the 80-year-old Howey test. So further, they believe Ripple's defense team has raised serious doubts around the regulator's broad application of a nearly 80-year-old Supreme Court decision to decentralize cryptocurrencies and blockchain networks. And I don't believe you could use the Howey test to test crypto. It's too old. I've said it many times, right as soon as this case was starting. I said, how could they use something that's that old based against a technology of today? It doesn't seem right. Ripple CEO speaks out about Hinman emails in Davos. So Brad says this: when those come to light, I think that we will see more kind of like, how is it possible the SEC decided to bring a case against Ripple, given that they were saying within their walls? The Ripple boss said. So what they were talking about within inside their own walls was corruption. And I believe those Hinman emails are going to show that. And I believe that that's going to be what really ends this case. I'm sure the judge has seen those emails. International Real-Time Payment Network, UDPN, for CBDC launches in Davos. And again, we knew there was going to be big announcements coming from Davos. As reports by Payments, a project from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and Digital Currency Initiative at MIT, has proven the technology feasible of a U.S. CBDC, while the New York Federal Reserve is conducting a watershed digital currency project with a consortium of leading commercial financial institutions, including BNY Mellon, Citi, HSBC, MasterCard, PNC Bank, Truist, U.S. Bank, TD Bank, and Wells Fargo. Now, we know Wells Fargo really likes XRP. They called it a cryptocurrency while they're still tied up with an SEC lawsuit. That said, an updated white paper published Wednesday, January 18th, by the Digital Dollar Project, a nonprofit organization advocating for a U.S. CBDC, conceded that the U.S. has conceded a head start to other nations in setting global standards for the future of money. In other words, the U.S. is far behind right now. In the coming CBDC future, the U.S. should actively lead global discussions on governance, interoperability, security, privacy, and scalability standards rather than reacting to foreign CBDC decisions. I don't think we should follow what the rest of the world's doing. In fact, I believe here they should put privacy laws out in front of a CBDC. More people would accept it then. But when you're worried that you're going to get enslaved by this thing and they have to create an emergency situation to roll one out, there's a problem there. That's why we need privacy laws put in place. Germany's Tokentus makes investment in Ripple Labs. Ripple, a major blockchain-powered international money transfer provider, has received a boost following an investment from Tokentus Investment AG. The investment from the German firm is thought to equal around $100,000. We see great future potential for Ripple, especially if so-called smart contracts, digital contracts based on the blockchain, continue to gain acceptance in Ripple technology, which we are convinced of. I believe it's going to start with this, and then next you're going to see an announcement that Ripple is tied to their new digital currency and their CBDC as well. So Ripple allows blockchain solutions. I believe Swift is even going to have to work with Ripple, as we see here. So even Swift has allowed blockchain solutions to make use of its global payments initiative platform for near real-time payments. With these developments in play, it is important for a payments hub to have support for digital currencies. Swift knows it's going to need that ODL in the future. I'm sure of it. On top of that, they know Ripple, they can't really compete with them. So maybe they'll implement XRP and Ripple into the Swift system at some point. Or vice versa. Maybe Brad will continue to allow Swift to make money off of their system. Who knows what the future holds? Ripple has unlimited liquidity. No bank has unlimited resources. And we see here. So using Ripple's XRP cryptocurrency as the underlying digital asset, the supply of demand for liquidity is effectively almost unlimited. The switches into and out of XRP take place almost immediately, which result that many of the risks associated with a traditional foreign currency transaction in a developing country are almost absent. Now, I think this is what's going on. I think the banking system is broken. I think the current financial system is broken. I think at some point they're going to make some kind of major event happen, as we see with cyber attacks in the World Economic Forum. But how far away is that? That's what has me concerned, because I think this can happen literally within the next 12 months. I think everything is pushing forward very fast, and you got to prepare for it. I definitely would not trust the banks of today, because the bank at some time, at some point, I believe is going to lock their doors. They're going to have a massive liquidity crisis. With that said, I'm going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you watching my videos. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.